makingascene.org brings you parallel compression, making your mix punch without killing dynamics. There is a moment almost every home recording artist runs into. You finish a mix in your own room. It sounds clean, it sounds balanced, and nothing is obviously broken. But when you play it next to a record that hits you in the chest, yours feels polite. The kick doesn't leap out. The vocal doesn't stay in your face. The song has the right emotion, but it doesn't have enough muscle. So you reach for compression and push harder. Suddenly, the life drains out of the track, the groove gets smaller, and the singer sounds pinned to the wall. The whole thing is louder, but somehow less alive. This creates a disconnect. You've achieved the volume you wanted, but you've lost the movement that makes the performance feel human. Parallel compression is the move that solves that specific conflict. It allows you to increase density without sacrificing the natural rise and fall of the performance. The technique works by splitting the signal into two paths. You keep your natural performance on the first path, then blend in a second, heavily compressed version underneath it. For artists working in home studios, this provides a way to reach the thickness and punch of a professional room using standard tools. You get the weight of a heavy mix, while the original performance stays in charge of the groove. This diagram shows how a standard compressor works. It reduces dynamic range by turning down the signal that rises above a chosen threshold. Those sharp, highest peaks are turned down, so they stop jumping so far ahead of the rest of the sound. In a normal setup, you're asking one signal to do two jobs. It has to keep the sharp attack of a drum hit or a vocal consonant, while also trying to carry the sustain and body of the sound. Often, it can't do both without sounding stiff. Parallel processing avoids that compromise by splitting the signal into two identical paths that we can treat separately. The first path stays completely dry. This ensures that the vocal keeps its real front edge and the drums keep their natural transients. The performance retains its original movement. We hammer the second path with compression. This crushed version brings up the low-level detail, the sustain, the breath, and the room tone, turning the quietest parts of the signal into a thick block of sound. When we blend the two together, the dry path provides the life and impact, while the compressed path adds the consistent weight. You aren't just adding more compression in the traditional sense. You are adding more information into the body of the sound, while the original performance stays in control of the rhythm. Because you are often asking the parallel compressor to do something extreme, the personality of the unit you choose becomes part of the record's tone. That-style compressors, like the classic 1176, are famous for their speed. They grab the signal instantly and add an aggressive edge, which is why they are a first choice for making drums feel more assertive.
Optical compressors, like the LA2A, react more slowly and musically. They offer a smooth, warm character that can bring a singer forward and emphasize the detail in a vocal without making it sound brittle. Then there are VCA and distressor-style options. These sit in the middle, offering a clean and flexible way to add firmness and glue to an entire mix bus or an acoustic ensemble. While this used to require complex hardware routing, modern software from Fender Studio Pro, Slate Digital, and Sonable has made the technique much easier to manage. Many modern plugins now include an internal blend control. This lets you dial in the parallel balance right inside the compressor without setting up extra buses or return tracks. This lower technical friction means you can spend more time listening to the emotional impact of the sound rather than troubleshooting your routing. Because parallel compression sounds impressive very quickly, it's easy to overdo it. The most common mistake is assuming that louder density is always better and blending the crushed signal too high. You also have to match the compressor to the source. Using an aggressive, fast compressor on a delicate vocal might add a nervous energy that doesn't fit the song, while a slow compressor on a drum bus might fail to add the punch you need. If you ignore the attack and release settings, the parallel path can fight the rhythm. A release that is too slow might never recover between notes, while a release that is too fast can cause the track to pump in a way that feels distracting rather than musical. The goal is subtlety. You should bring the crushed track up until you miss it when it's muted, but not so high that it becomes an obvious separate layer in the mix. When you push the technique too far, the mix gets crowded and the contrast disappears. Instead of a powerful track, you end up with one that sounds cluttered and small. Mastering this move has real-world benefits for how your music is heard. A mix with better translation sounds consistent,
whether they are listening on earbuds, in a car, or on a loud club system. When your masters sound finished and strong, it builds confidence with your audience. That professional edge helps a song land better for sync submissions, fan club exclusives, and direct releases. This is about closing the gap between a demo and a release-ready master. By learning these techniques in your own room, you rely less on outside validation to fix your sound later. The more you can achieve with your own judgment, the more control you keep over your masters and your release schedule. You are building records that are ready to stream or sell on your own terms. Make sure you check out the other great articles and resources on makingascene.org, the place the indie artist goes to build the new music industry. Ultimately, parallel compression is a tool for impact. It lets you preserve the human touch of a performance while giving it the power it needs to stand up next to any other record in a listener's feed.